Hi, please tell me your name and where are you from?
My name is Tudor. I was born in Moldova, but currently I live in Amsterdam.
Okay, thank you. And what is your occupation?
It's two-sided, so my expertise and my portfolio is mostly in project management
Yeah.
in the education sector, but I also specialize in designing learning experiences and also facilitating learning communities remotely.
Yes,
Basically.
thank you. And so, welcome at the ePIC 2019 here in Lille. What brought you to the ePIC?
Currently, I'm working with CRE Paris and the UNESCO team on an initiative which is called Learning Planet,
Yes.
which is really an open source ecosystem for designing and facilitating SDG-based pedagogy, which is pedagogy for sustainable development goals.
Yes.
And in that initiative, we really try to engage people in multiple ways and actually reward their engagement. So that's the part where ePIC is really relevant. How do you assess, how do you recognize different contributions that people have in such an ecosystem? And badges, certificates, different ways of rewarding contribution becomes really relevant.
Okay, thank you. So, ePIC is also about open recognition. What do you think about open recognition?
What I actually learned at ePIC 2019 is that there are multiple levels to open recognition. You can think of simple actions that you can create a badge for, but there is also the employment market. There's also a way to look at lifelong learning and how do you certify or validate a certain credential and so on. So I definitely embrace it, and I think it's relevant for the future of learning. But I also was inspired and I had an aha moment of how complex this part is and how many applications actually exist in the social welfare, in the labor market, in the education, and in also learning cities and learning territories. How can you involve seniors and kids in solving social issues and also reward that? That was a very inspiring session.
So, thank you for that. For what new information you acquired today?
Oh, there's too much to pick from.
Okay.
One element was from the technical track, so that was block certs. So certification or validation of open badges based on blockchain. So that the way it's implemented currently, for example, by Best from Italy, to actually give equivalent of the university diploma, but hosted on blockchain. That was like, oh, that's interesting. Another part which I mentioned previously was about learning territories and learning cities. So that was a presentation from someone in France. So that was interesting to see that you can actually involve families and senior citizens and recognize their learning experiences outside school.
Okay.
And just meeting great people passionate about what they do and trying to think collectively about the future of learning and how do we credit that.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your experience so far? You've been here now for 2 days.
Yeah.
What do you find about this conference?
I actually mentioned to someone from Canada whom I met this year for the first time, this event feels like a really tight community of people that have similar thoughts and values. And I love when the presenters say, okay, last year we presented this idea, this year we actually built it, and here's the result.
Yes.
So it seems like it's circular, like people come here, they get ideas or present ideas, then they go build it,
Yes.
and they come back to share their results, which often are open source, transparent, and so on. So that was very different from other conferences.
Okay, thank you. And so, Tudor, if you suppose you come back next year, you get now some ideas. What would be the first thing that you would like to build on or would like to share with your colleagues if you're back in Amsterdam?
Sure. So one of the things, as I mentioned, is engagement around the Learning Planet initiative. So what we want to do now is to create a grid of different scenarios, how people can engage to build a learning planet and work on SDGs, from actions that take 5 minutes and also across different ages. So we actually want to go back and with everything that we learned with all the technologies, tech and so on, to actually build this engagement grid, and hopefully come next year and say, okay, what worked and what completely failed.
Yes.
So that would be
lessons
interesting.
learned. Yes. Thank you very much. So hope to see you next year then.
Thank
okay,
you.
Thank you, Tudor.